You sure you weren't in Nam? Nah, of course you were not. You were too young. That's why I notice people don't put change in your hand anymore. It's like once you go in the jungle, you can't see the forest for the trees. It really is 1985, with half the country in 1952 and the other half in 1933. Add it up, Larry. So I work for a guy who's not normal. Who doesn't? Today I'm going to review Ochimo, the Spirit Warrior, OA number 3, by Jeff Grubb. Now, this module, I just ran once. It's an okay module, I thought, but it's a setup for the next module, which was one of my favorite modules. So it goes into a bit of Shaolong history. The Shaolong are like the fantasy version of Song Dynasty China. I got some history in the government and the fate, but the main point is your Japanese characters are going to meet the Ko family, who are a Chinese merchant family. And here's their house. And so they send you to Akari Island, a haunted island. So you go on this voyage to Akari, and there are some different encounters that could happen. But my favorite one is the negotiation problem, that you come to a patch of sea where there's some sea spirit folk, and they want to see you do your non-weapon proficiencies to show off your arts and crafts. So eventually you get to the Prioto Islands, which is where Akari Island is. If you look at the map of character, you can see to the west is the Shaolong Empire, and to the northeast is Kozakura, Japan, basically. So you go to Akari Island, and you meet the Ochimo, which are these. They look sort of like samurai, except they have a tendency to suck out the souls of their victims and inhale them. And it's kind of railroady, so there's several encounters to cover in order, including a fight with a ninja and a fight with the Ochimo. And it comes with some pre-generated characters, if you like. There's a river spirit folk Kensai, whose weapon is Chikiri. Now again, they must have picked a random weapon, because this is not a weapon that does lots of damage. It's not a weapon that does tricks. It's just a weapon. And there's a human female 7th level Wu Jin. And if you look on the back, it's got the family of the Kensai and the spells of the Wu Jin. And here is a human Shukenja. There's a human samurai. On the back of the Shukenja is a picture of the palace where the big confrontation takes place. And here's the family chart for the samurai. There's a 6th level Bushi, a 4th level Kathenge Yokai Bushi. And on the back, they have the family chart of the human Bushi, and the Kathenge Yokai has this map, which he's inherited. Pretty cool map. There's a human Yakuza ninja. Right? Again, you've got a Yakuza ninja, and you don't have a couple of your brethren with you. He should have, you know, either a couple of 2nd level or 4 1st level Yakuza to go with him. And here's a shorter version of the history of Shaolong. And on the back is a player's map of the island. I did not cut this out and hand it to the players, but I suppose I want you to do that. So then we have some different encounter areas on the island, like the city of Taiko. And there's a Goblin Rest Lair, a Pirate Haven. There's a dead Gargantua. In this case, it's a humanoid Gargantua, which would be like dead King Kong. And in the center of the island is the OA3 which is the palace that I showed you a picture of earlier. So when I was trying to get the players to go there, one of the things that you could find is you're going through dense jungle, and then there's a section of jungle which raised slightly and then it goes back to lower. And I found it difficult to DM this without the players noticing that, oh, this is the pathway to the palace, which it was, and they just followed it. So, but this palace was the center of a leopard cult. And this comes up later in the next module. And it goes into what's there. Each of the Ochimo has a tower. Some of the stuff is ancient, and some of it is new. There's the spellbook of the OA3. And then we finally, it comes down to the lair of the OA3. The OA3 is the big bad villain. He is a 2,000-year-old man who was the head of the leopard cult, and he's got powers of both the Shukenja and a Wujin, and uses them to good effect, and it gives you some tactics to use for him, but you have to fight him once as human size, and then he goes off to his extra-dimensional hideout where he has a giant sword, and he uses the spell giant size to grow big enough to use that thing, and then you have to fight him giant sized. So it was an okay module, not the best. But, oh, and here's Haruga, the spirit of the island. In case you want to use that commune with greater spirit spell, here's somebody to commune with. My players never did that. Island spirits or stone spirits. Once you commune with these guys. And here's the actual color map of the island. Oh, and let's show you the map of the palace. So there's two versions. There's the sideways version here, which shows that different parts of it are at different levels. And then there's this map, which is in the same style as the Ravenloft map, sort of diagonal, which allows you to 3D see better what you're trying to look at. Which for some maps, this is a better way to look at things. So there it is. Ochimo the Spirit Warrior by Jeff Grubb. It's not a great module, but it's not a bad one either. It's a pretty good one, and it's a setup for the next one.